are likely to lose interest.
But it goes way beyond projects that are designed to alter the future. Scheffler believes the knowledge that humans would soon cease to exist would even alter activities that we enjoy in the present.
Triumph for France as a 4-2 defeat of Croatia in Moscow sees them become football champions of the world.
Like our enjoyment of sport.
The World Cup matches take place in a context, and the context is historical and ongoing. The fact that England made it further in the World Cup this year than it had since 1990 is an important part of what was exciting about it to people. So that's a way in which the backward-looking dimension of it is important. But also there's a forward-looking dimension. If this were the last World Cup ever, it's not clear that it would have the same significance in their lives that the World Cup does in the actual circumstances, which look forward as well as backward.
What about activities like music or sex? Even if human extinction was imminent, surely we'd still be able to enjoy Mozart. Well, Scheffler is not so sure, and nor was P.D. James.
Yeah, music and sex, it's interesting. They seem like activities whose rewards occur entirely in the moment. Interestingly, in P.D. James's novel, she specifically has her protagonists say that, well, people try to take as much pleasure as they can from music and wine, but it just doesn't seem the same anymore. It's just not as enjoyable. And in fact, she imagines that the government has established national porn shops to keep people interested in sex because they've kind of gone off that too.
What does all this tell us? Well, here's a weird thing. I know I'm going to die, but that fact doesn't stop me loving my hobbies, pursuing my career, making this programme. But if I knew all humans were going to die out, well, that would undermine most of what I enjoy and find valuable.
Some people sometimes think or assume that we're concerned primarily with our own experiences. We're really preoccupied with the experiences we have during our lifetimes. But our reaction to this thought experiment suggests that what happens after our lifetimes, even though we're not going to be there to experience it, matters a great deal to us. It matters a great deal to us that people should live on after we ourselves die. We seem to have what might be called a love of humanity. Indeed, part of the reason the destruction of humanity would be contrary to our interests is precisely because it would mean the destruction of something we love.
Suppose we discovered that out there in space there was a planet, Planet Zog, and there were aliens on Planet Zog, creatures who were not human but who possessed a form of intelligence. Would that not provide some consolation in the face of human extinction? Not much, says Sam Scheffler.
I don't think we would say, oh, well, then that's all right. As long as on Zog they're going to carry on and they'll have the Zog World Cup and the Zog National Gallery and so on. I don't think that that would do it for us. And part of what that brings out is that we implicitly view ourselves as part of a succession of human generations. We're talking about future generations. The word generations means something. It's not just like creatures in the future who have some properties similar to ours. These are our successors. They're part of the same chain of human life that we all participate in.
Normally, when we worry about climate change or nuclear proliferation, we think it's because we have obligations to future people, to people not yet born. We have a duty to ensure that they, the future people, have the chance to live decent lives. But we can now see some different reasons for caring about the future. It turns out that most of us have a real love for humanity. It's not just a tedious duty, we want the human species to survive. What's more, although future people are dependent on us not to wreck the planet, it turns out that we need them as much as they need us. Without them, our lives would lose almost all meaning. Well, we're approaching the end of this marathon series of The Big Idea. Would I make this programme if I knew humankind was dying out? Would you listen to this programme if humankind was dying out?
Clearly, I said the value of some things would survive in the face of humanity's imminent destruction. And clearly listening to the BBC in general and to this series in particular is one of the things people would do happily until the very end.
Thanks a lot for listening to The Big Idea from the BBC World Service. I'm David Edmonds and the producer was Ben Cooper. All the big ideas are now available as podcasts. If you've enjoyed them, do leave a rating or comment if your podcast provider allows this. This is the last in the series, but who knows, if the world continues to exist, there may even be another. So do let me know on Twitter at DavidEdmonds100 what other big ideas you think I could be looking at.